Hello and welcome to another episode of Fundy Tidings. I'm your host, Jay Remer, and with me today I would like to welcome Gavin Garbutt. Welcome to the show, Gavin.
Thank you very much, Jay. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Gavin is a board member and treasurer of Sunbury Shores Arts and Nature Center, which I've been involved with over the years, as you know. And Gavin has got some exciting news to explain to us what the center is up to and where the center is going to be going. So welcome to the show, and let's just get started with where we are today and where we're going to go.
That's great. Well, as you know, the center's been around for the last 52 years, and Mrs. Idlets originally founded the center with the idea of bringing arts and nature together and providing a center for the community and for visiting artists. And so that methodology and that concept has really grown over the years. We've got a beautiful center. The building's 130 years old. It's right on the front of the water on the main street. And it's a newly renovated center. It's 6,000 square feet. We fully renovated the place about 2 years ago. And the result is that we have a world-class center. And it's really quite exciting when artists come and visit and they see this and they can't believe that a little town like St. Andrews, New Brunswick, has a facility with 2 art galleries, a beautiful pottery studio, 2 painting studios, a brand new metalsmith and jewelry studio, which we just refurbished this winter, stained glass facilities, and lots more. So the center, we really service our local community as well as visiting artists. We have about 124 classes a year, and these are programs that vary between 3 days a week or over a 6-week period. And we have about 1,100 students that come through this center in a year. So people taking courses, whether they're the students from the local schools, of which we have about 500, whether they're senior citizens who come and do programs. We have about 108 senior citizens come through the center a year. And just what's interesting is we actually deliver those programs for the students and the seniors for free. So those people get to come in, enjoy the facility, take programs with our teachers, and learn and grow. And then the other half of our students, another 500-ish, are visiting artists. And they may be actually visiting and local artists who come in and take programs to develop their skills and who want to practice with the teachers that we have coming in. So it's a very dynamic and fun organization.
Well, it's a remarkable organization, and I remember years ago it was the center for the arts in Charlotte County. And there were lots of wonderful courses and lots of wonderful people, and of course the natural beauty that the center is set in is a huge bonus. But over the years, as things change and economies change, populations change, the center kind of lost its thrust as really a community organization, and I think now it is returning to those original roots, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about the organization and about the community in which we live now. So I think that it's a fantastic thing that you all are doing, and the fact that you can have so many people involved in the arts is really interesting to me, because I remember, and the class program, which began a number of years ago, yes, is such an integral part of Sunbury Shores, and I think that I was attracted to it initially because it represents a way for people who can't learn well academically to learn in other ways. So how is that played into the whole plan that you're developing?
Well, absolutely. So there's 2 main thrusts. So we've just set up a 5-year strategic plan that we actually implemented last year. And there's 2 main thrusts to that. There's the community, which is for St. Andrews and the Bay of Fundy community. And then there's very much a strategic initiative to go after the 1.2 million artists that live in Canada and the northeastern USA. So we're very much targeting these people, educating them about our programs, the exceptional instructors that we're bringing in, and this is a key initiative for us, is to continue to improve the level of instructors. We have great instructors today, but we want to add more, and we want to add more programs, and we want to add higher levels of instructors who will attract people from different communities and different areas of art. Because we want to be able to expose our children and our seniors and our local artists to these people and these talents as well. But we have, as you mentioned, the class program, which is where we support the local high school and the local junior school, and we pretty much do the vast majority of their arts, either us going into their school and delivering the classes, or them coming down to the center and taking the classes. And that's a core service that we deliver at no cost to the students. But then we also have an outreach program where we go to Back Bay and Deer Island and St. George and St. Stephen and other communities where they don't have arts programs, and we can actually send a teacher in there and help with teaching the programs to the children. And again, these are programs that are funded by generous donors in the New Brunswick community and different visiting members of the community in the summertime. So it's we very much have a community-oriented mind, and we want to really raise the bar on the level of artists that we bring in. Much like you say, in the old days, the Molly Bobacks of the world would come in and teach, and they would attract artists at a much different level. That's what we want to bring back. So we're being very focused on identifying and attracting exceptional artists that we can then bring in and who will attract artists themselves, but then they can also teach our community arts and nature programs.
There are pockets especially in the U.S. I remember as a when I was an art history student, where artists would congregate in the summers. So you would go. So New England was a big deal. Well, it turns out that Eastport, Maine, was a big deal for a lot of American artists to come and visit in the summertime. And as the Tides Institute has grown and as we've formed a relationship with them, I've learned more and more about just the volume and the importance of the arts community in this part of the world. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing now, as far as, because the world is smaller, we've got the internet, there are all kinds of new challenges. How do you deal with them? What are the challenges, and how are you dealing with them as you're going through this process?
Well, I'm a funny guy. I look at challenges as opportunities.
Good.
So to that point, when we were initiating our strategic plan, I actually, my wife and I took time and went and toured different arts centers across Canada and the USA. So we went and visited the 2 arts centers in Salt Spring Island. We went to the Whistler Arts Center. We went to Carmel by the Sea in California, Grenville Island, Nantucket Arts Association, and a number of others. And we went and visited with them in order to understand what were they doing so well and why were they so successful, and what are some of the ideas that we could bring back to St. Andrews to be equally successful, and what were their biggest challenges, and how do they deal with them. And it was a fascinating experience, and I'll tell you what was most interesting to me is after going and visiting with these 10 world-class centers, I can tell you that Sunbury Shores has a center as nice or nicer than all of them.
Isn't that wonderful? So
here we are in this little town of St. Andrews, New Brunswick, and we have a world-class art center, equal to any other center out there. So we have the facilities, we have the infrastructure to support this, with the wonderful development that's happening with the gardens and their expansion, offering this fantastic artist in residence program that'll be continued to be developed, and working together with them in partnership and working with the hotel and the community and other organizations to really work with our community, but then to be able to identify, as I was mentioning a moment ago, these 1.2 million artists within a 10-hour drive of St. Andrews, and how do we help them understand that St. Andrews and the Bay of Fundy is the #1 destination for arts and nature in Canada. And this is what we want to get across. We want to educate all these artists that this is a place to come. This community, St. Stephen's, St. George, Blacks Harbor, the Bay of Fundy community is a fantastic place to be inspired to practice arts with nature.
Well, I mean, Gavin, let's face it, you know, you and I could have decided to live anywhere that we wanted to, basically, and we decided to live here. And that speaks volumes for, I don't know necessarily exactly why you chose to live here. I mean, aside from the fact that you're from here too, but it is a gorgeous place, and for anyone who likes to be outside and interact with the natural world, I can't think of a better place to do it. And 6 months of the year, you can't beat this place. It's just remarkable.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm originally a Montreal boy.
Okay, sorry.
But, that's all right. No, that's wonderful. But my parents moved out here 40 years ago, and I live in Ottawa today, and have a summer place here in St. Andrews, and have been coming here every summer for those 40 years, and absolutely fall in love with it. And this will become our primary residence also. So we want to see the community continue to grow and evolve and prosper. And we think one of the ways of doing that is to really nurture the arts and nature programs in the area. And we have so much to offer as a community between the hotel, the gardens, Sunbury Shores, Huntsman Marine, the golf club, and the list just keeps going on and on. And so it's such a fantastic place to be in the summer.
Yeah, well, it is remarkable. I've just you know, been working on a couple of articles about culture and the importance of culture in communities. And what's the current thinking about the significance of culture and healthy communities? Because if you look at, for example, the way the government views it, you might get a different perspective than, say, the way you and I might look at it. So I'm just wondering, what is the current thinking of the board on the significance of culture to the health of a community?
Well, I think in this community in particular, it's very important. Understanding that Sunbury Shores building is 130 years old. My parents-in-law's house was built in the 1700s and was floated down 150 miles from Castile, Maine to St. Andrews, and then reassembled, and you know, just the fantastic history like that. And Sunbury Shores is actually the oldest arts and nature center in Canada.
Is that right?
So you think of historical aspects, and St. Andrews is actually one of the original resort towns in Canada as well. So we're just steeped in so much history, and many of our buildings, as I just mentioned with my parents-in-laws, date back to the 1700s. So St. Andrews really is all about history and arts and nature and culture, and it's that combination, and the fact that we just happen to have the highest tides in the world here, so the dramatic impact of that is just a wonderful thing. And to be able to be on the water and go out and see the whales, and it's this combination of history and culture and arts and nature that makes this a wonderful place.
Yeah, well, it is remarkable. So the classes that you're actually offering are are quite varied now, and yes. Now that you have some additional facilities within the building that you can do jewelry and pottery and all of these things, what's the sort of the direction that the instructors are going to be taking as far as how comprehensive can you be here? I mean, you're not going to be bringing in 6-ton monoliths to carve in a summer. But there will be lots of other opportunities, and I'm just wondering, is there a parameter that you're working within, or is it the sky is the limit, or how does it work?
Well, we are very focused in that we know we want to be the best at what we do. So, and that's part of being a center of excellence. So we really want to make sure that the programs we're delivering them at the highest level. So we have programs for children and programs for adults. And in each one of those we have beginners, intermediate, and advanced levels. So we really do cater to people of all levels in those disciplines. So whether it's jewelry and metalsmith, or it's painting or drawing, or stained glass, or printing. We have one of the best printing studios in Canada. We really have a level of expertise, but we have programs designed for all levels. So we're going to stick within those disciplines, which is very broad in itself. But we want to be very good at what we do, and we want people to come and have an exceptional experience so that they come back year after year after year. And that's what we tend to find. A lot of the people who come in from Toronto or Ottawa or Montreal or New York or wherever it may be, they come back and then they tell their friends, and their friends come and they tell their friends, and it makes it a wonderful thing. Our courses this year, actually, this is to me quite incredible, but we did raise our communication strategy and the level of our courses, and for 2016 we have 4 times the people enrolled in courses as we did in 2015, and 2015 was a pretty good year. So we're just seeing a resurgence of people coming in, whether it's local people taking courses, but also people coming in from around the province and outside of the province, and coming in enjoying St. Andrews and the facilities that it has to offer.
Is Sunbury Shores going to be used for other purposes? I know as well, for example, a couple of years ago, there were a number of music events that were held there. Is that going to be phased out, or is that going to be increased, or is it going to be, I guess what I'm asking, is it going to be a sort of a multi-cultural center, or is it going to be focused on just on the arts?
Well, as I sit here right now today with you, our primary focus is the arts. So we do have performing arts happening in St. Andrews, and that's something that we see that we really embrace. We embrace anything in the community that's going to promote arts, whether it's visual or performing, and so we have a little bit. And it's not something that we're necessarily looking to expand on unless there becomes a need, unless there's a really big hole that needs to be filled, and we can do it at a very high quality level.
I think that's really that really kind of hits the nail on the head, because I think that there was a need before in order to bring the community back to the center, because there was a real challenge there, and so the music was used, and now the arts can speak for themselves, so to speak, because I've been in there for a number of exhibitions, and they're very impressive, beautifully hung, and the quality is super. So and I'm also interested to notice the number of people that attend the openings. Lots of people come. I mean, it's really people look forward to coming. So this is the direction I'm guessing you're moving.
Yeah, the openings have been jam-packed. So that's very encouraging. And part of it is we're improving our communication strategy to the community and outside of that. And we've actually engaged a communication company out of Toronto. We've been very, very fortunate. They deal with the Revlons and Unilevers and Crafts of the world, and they're taking us on as a pet project and helping us out enormously. So you will see St. Andrews and Sunbury Shores and the Bay of Fundy community really being this idea again, going to these 1.2 million artists and educating them about why they should be coming here as a community, and particularly arts and nature programs. But this is going to be a strong focus. So we've launched a very significant program, and we'll be continuing to build it over the next few years.
Well, I notice that there has been a real focus on trying to get different organizations within the community to work together. And that is a challenge that communities have. It's part of community. It's just like being human. You have faults, communities have challenges. And I've noticed that there's a big uptick in not only the effort to try and get organizations to work together, like the Chamber and the BIA and the Garden and so forth, the hotel and Sunbury Shores and any other of the major organizations that are in the community. And not only is there an effort, it's working. I mean, people have changed their focus to, we are going to make this work. And I think that Sunbury Shores is sort of in the center of all of this right at the moment, and it's very encouraging.
Well, again, when I think of things from a business perspective, in a corporate environment, it's all about partnerships. And so if you have strong partnerships, you can achieve so much more, and you can achieve it so much more cost effectively. So when you think of just what you're saying, all of those individual entities are all spending money communicating and marketing to try to get people in. And I strongly believe that as a group, we can pool our resources and we can have a real top-notch professional organization, for example, like THP, who's doing our communication strategy, help go out and reach that target audience in a more scalable way. So yes, we are working very hard, and I've shared our strategic plan, our budgets, our marketing plans with everybody. And everybody understands this is exactly what we're doing and where we're going, and the fact that I would like us to start all working together in a cooperative fashion. And everybody I've spoken to is completely engaged in the idea and wants to start working more closely together as a community to really build St. Andrews. And one of the questions I asked every one of the arts centers that I visited was, of course, what's your biggest challenge? And everybody's biggest challenge was the same. It was the lack of cooperation between arts centers in their surrounding communities. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to protect their own turf, and almost, well, it's a wonderful thing that we're seeing in St. Andrews, because people are not worried about turf. People are more concerned about cooperating and how do we make this the #1 destination in Eastern Canada for arts and nature.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing. That's a unique. We are unique. Actually.
Well, it is. It sounds to me to be very unique because, we do tend to be very territorial and protective, and to overlay a whole principle of transparency into the whole process is critically important for its success, but very challenging for people to actually. It's kind of like jump off the diving board, you're going to be okay. And I applaud you, Gavin, for sort of helping to spearhead this, and the team that you're working with, because it's a formidable team, and it's just so refreshing to see it going. Now, we only have a couple of minutes left, but one of the things that I've noticed is you do have a forward-thinking plan. Would you like to share with us a little bit about that plan?
Well, so we've put together a very, very detailed strategic plan for the next 5 years, and it is incredibly detailed, looking at everything month by month for the next 5 years, exactly how many programs we're going to be offering, what type of courses each month, how many students per course, what type of instructors we need per course, how many exhibitions, what type of exhibitions, different time of years, because we have a different audience during different times of years, and they have different desires and different amounts that and types of arts that they would like to see, and so we have to be very sensitive to that. So we've done an incredibly extensive plan. Our actual goal over the next 5 years is to double our revenues as a center. And the goal behind that is so that we will require less grants and we'll require less donations, and that the center will actually be self-funded. So this is a unique thing in arts and nature centers and non-for-profit organizations, which we are. But we believe we can actually be fully self-sustaining and profitable as an organization so that we can continue to build our programs for our communities. We want to expand our seasonal programs into the spring and the fall, so we're attracting more artists into the community during those seasons, which is great for everybody, the hotel, the businesses of the community. And we would love, one of our plans is to start a national level arts fair in St. Andrews, where there would be great prize monies. We'd be attracting artists from all over the country, well, Canada and the US, and even Europe, and to really make this a vibrant community and continue to grow and evolve it.
Well, I think it sounds like a fabulous story to me and a great goal. Thank you very much for coming in today and sharing that with us. It's just fantastic, and I always love chatting with you anyway. And thank you very much for watching this episode of Fundy Tidings, and I look forward to seeing you again in the very near future.